Pediatrician gets 9-month suspension for professional misconduct. Police arrest 3 in a $130 million drug bust. And mourners continue to turn out at funeral of late Iranian Supreme Leader. Good evening. Welcome to TVB News. The Medical Council rules a pediatrician guilty of professional misconduct in connection to a medical blunder that left an infant permanently disabled. The council suspends Sit So-chi from the list of registered medical practitioners for 9 months. Mimosa Ngai reports.
The incident dates back to 2009, when a mainland couple came to a Baptist hospital to give birth. Their son developed a high fever and seizure after he was born and eventually became disabled with cerebral palsy and quadriplegia. The parents filed a complaint against Dr. Sit So-chi, saying he had failed to act on warnings about the infant's condition. Referring to the opinions of expert witnesses, the Medical Council chairman, Grace Tan, says on Sunday it was necessary for Sit to return to the hospital to assess the infant's condition instead of relying on the reports of a nurse. Tan says Sit should have headed to the hospital to check on the baby after receiving reports from the nurse and not waited until the next morning. The council says newborn baby with seizures could lead to serious complication, ruling Sit did not conduct timely and required inspection. The ruling also states Sit did not show remorse in the process but defended his actions instead. Sit made no comment and left after the ruling. For the baby's parents, the verdict is delayed justice. The father says they have been waiting for a result for 16 years, and the family will consider seeking compensation through civil litigation against the doctor and relevant medical institutions. Mimosa Ngai, TVB News.
Police raid a drug storage facility and arrest 3 Pakistani men suspected of trafficking nearly $130 million worth of cocaine. The case will be heard tomorrow at Tuamun Magistrates' Courts. During the operation, 172 suspected cocaine bricks were seized, each weighing about 1 kilogram, with a total market value of approximately $128 million. Tools such as grinders and hammers were seized. Police says detectives raided a 3,000-square-foot metal warehouse on Konon Road, Yuan Long, last Friday. They found 3 men cutting 2 metal containers weighing 3 tons each. Upon opening the containers, police discovered suspected cocaine and arrested them on charges of trafficking in dangerous drugs. Police says they believe the suspects were cutting open the metal containers and attempting to extract the drugs before handing them over to buyers. The suspects stored the drugs in hard metal containers and added an inner layer that could block X-rays, attempting to increase the difficulty of investigation by officers. Police says the 3 arrested men are Pakistani nationals aged between 28 and 35 and possessed temporary permits. It is believed that the drugs originated from overseas. The source of the drugs and how they entered Hong Kong will be investigated. 2 Hong Kongers who went missing after scuba diving in Tasmania, Australia, have been saved by a Hong Kong Aurora chasing tour group vessel. The tour group was led by WWPKG. WWPKG says the tour group was in Hobart for Aurora chasing on Friday night. The group heard 2 people screaming for help in English. The boat captain also received an alert from local authorities about 2 missing divers in the nearby waters. According to Tasmanian media, the 2 divers were discovered on shore about 500 meters from where they had been expected to return. Speaking on a TVB News program, Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry, Sun Dong, says authorities have greatly sped up efforts to boost the local innovative spirit over the past 4 years, particularly through the development of the northern metropolis. This, as the city's innovative chief stresses, the government is determined to strike a balance between rapid AI development and implementing ethical guidelines on its usage. Timothy Lee has more.
As the development site of the northern metropolis Lok Ma Chau Loop gradually takes shape, Hong Kong's goal of strengthening its role as a global innovative hub edges ever closer. Speaking on TVB News, Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry Sun Dong noted some of the government's achievements in the innovative sector over the past 4 years.
Hong Kong IT ecosystem is getting vibrant. So currently our IT development framework is anchored by 5 world-class universities. In particular, our Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation Technology Park is becoming bridgehead for Hong Kong to better integrate and serve the overall development of our country. These IT activities has also been reflected in several international rankings. In the latest World Competitiveness Yearbook 2026, Hong Kong ranked number 2 globally, and also believe as the northern metropolis accelerates its development in the future, the growth of Hong Kong IT industry will also gain momentum.
As AI has become a focal point of the government's developmental objective, Sun said authorities have successfully attracted a substantial amount of AI-related businesses to settle in the city.
The Hong Kong government has attached great importance to the AI development. Actually, we have identified AI as our core industry. In the past several years, we have rolled out a lot of policies to expedite the AI development. For the industry application, we encourage a lot of companies to come to Hong Kong to expand their businesses. So in the past a couple of years, we have attracted more than 1,000 AI companies, gathering in Hong Kong for AI development.
Meanwhile, the innovation chief also emphasized the need to balance the development of AI and the implementation of measures to prevent its misuse.
In addition to providing the guidelines, we are also studying how to build a new legal framework that can better the safety use of AI. We have to face the risk arising from the rapid AI development.
Timothy Lee, TVB News.
A sea of mourners turn out in Tehran for the funeral of slain Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, with ceremonies spanning several cities before concluding in the final burial scheduled for July the 9th. Media reports say negotiations between Iran and the United States are set to resume in Pakistan next Saturday. The level of representation of the Iranian delegation will be decided following Khamenei's funeral. A 97-year-old Shiite cleric led Sunday's prayer at Tehran's Grand Masala for Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and his late family members before hundreds of thousands of black-clad mourners. Khamenei, who had ruled Iran since 1989, was assassinated at his home on February the 28th during a US-Israeli air raid. After a day lying in state indoors, the coffin of the slain leader was put on display under glass outdoors, along with those of his daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law and granddaughter. One of the mourners said, "We are waiting for revenge for our leader's blood. People are here to pledge allegiance." People were seen chanting slogans, "Death to America," and waving flags as a show of solidarity and anger. Iranian poet Mohammad Rassouli has called for the death of US President Donald Trump, drawing cheers from vast crowds. Rassouli notes, "The world is no longer a good place for Trump." Khamenei's 3 sons, Masoud, Maysam and Mustafa, emerged to attend the elaborate commemorations. Also in hand were a slew of Iranian senior officials. They include President Masoud Pezeshkian, Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, Revolutionary Guard head General Ahmad Vahidi, and head of the Guard's Expeditionary Quds Force Esmail Khani. But Khamenei's successor, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, another of his son, was notably absent. The 56-year-old new supreme leader stayed out of public view after reportedly being wounded in the same attack that killed his father. American news outlet Axios quoted Trump as saying Washington could take Iran's leaders all out with one shot, as they were all attending the state funeral. Trump also said he was surprised to see Iranians weeping, remarking, "Maybe it's fake tears." This as Iran's Ministry of Intelligence announced Saturday that they had dismantled 4 terrorist cells linked to US and Israel and seized large quantities of weapons, ammunition and explosives. In addition, Kazem Garibabadi, the Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister for Legal and International Affairs, rejects a UK-France joint statement that describes the Strait of Hormuz as a vital artery for the global economy. Garibabadi declares on X that the security of the sensitive waterway lies solely with Iran and Oman, warning it is not a theatre for trans-regional powers' military display. Pakistan, a key mediator in the US-Iran talks, is set to be hosting the next round of negotiations on July the 11th. Citing unnamed sources, Al Arabiya News Channel reports the focus will be on US sanctions as well as Iran's blocked funds and nuclear file. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky held separate phone calls with US President Donald Trump, touching on a wide range of issues, including the Ukraine conflict. Zelensky says US decisiveness can help end the war with Russia. According to Russian presidential aide Yuri Ushakov, the conversation lasted about 1 hour and 25 minutes and was pragmatic and constructive. It is the fourth call between the two leaders this year. Tracy Furness reports.
In the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, 2 people were killed and 39 others injured in an overnight Russian attack Friday on Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia region. This building was one of many damaged in the attack. Emergency crews standing by to rush the injured to hospital. Throughout Friday, Russia launched a series of attacks on the city using drones and guided serial bombs. The strikes came in multiple waves during the day and continued on Saturday overnight. According to authorities, 34 apartment buildings and 37 private homes sustained varying degrees of damage across several districts of the city. This as Russian military commanders told Russian President Vladimir Putin their forces had taken control of Kostiantynivka, a target that Moscow has long sought in its advance through the Donetsk region. Ukraine hit back at Moscow, rejecting Russia's claims that the city has been captured. This as Putin visited Russian military headquarters Friday, directing the action in Ukraine. Putin hailed the capture of Kostiantynivka as a key step towards capturing the nearby cities of Slavyansk and Kramatorsk, the key remaining strongholds in the so-called forest belt of heavily fortified cities in the Donetsk region that remains in Ukraine's hands. Putin also warned that the more strikes Kyiv launches on Russian civilian facilities, the biggest security zone they will need to create in Ukraine. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Welcome back. Regions across the United States celebrate the 250th anniversary of American independence as extreme weather threatened to put an end to various events. US President Donald Trump addresses the nation in Washington, using the opportunity to denounce communism, calling it a cancer that is rearing its ugly head right back here in America. Joe Lee reports.
This 1st of July marks the 250th anniversary of the founding of America. After storms prompt a roughly 2-hour evacuation of the National Mall in D.C. and threatened to halt U.S. President Trump's address, celebrations were eventually back on track. In a 14-minute address to the nation, Trump declares the anniversary one of the most joyous and glorious milestones of all time, while warning that communism is a cancer. The sentiments have become an increasingly central to his message ahead of the November midterms.
Unlike so many others in the world, in this country we have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, equal justice under the law, although I wasn't treated that well, but we won't get into that, and the right to keep and bear arms. Across the generations, Americans have fought, bled, and died, not just to secure those rights, but to expand them to citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed, because we are one people, we are one family. You showed that tonight with one flag, and as our Declaration of Independence tells us, we are all made in the image of one Almighty God. And a communist will never say that. That's for sure.
Meanwhile, fireworks lit up skies across the nation from DC to New York. In Washington, crowds watched a firework display from the National Mall. A firework malfunction lit up the Brooklyn Bridge in New York, leaving smoke in its trail. Traffic was closed off as emergency workers rushed to the scene. Earlier in the day, the crowd in New York City gathered as the U.S. Navy's Blue Angels, along with international military forces, staged a massive flyover featuring more than 100 aircrafts. Some lit trails of red, white, and blue smoke over the Hudson River. More than 100 international warships and sailing vessels paraded down the Hudson. On board the U.S. Navy vessel USS Kearsarge, Vice President J.D. Vance addressed the crowd, saying some small but loud voices would speak obsessively on America's birthday about its imperfections instead of its greatness. He says these people misunderstand that we all have moments of great power despite those very real imperfections. Despite a jubilant atmosphere across the country, the milestone comes amid deep partisan division, according to recent polls. A recent poll reveals 60% of Americans believe the nation is failing to live up to its founding principles. It also reveals a partisan split regarding the future, with most Republicans feeling optimistic while Democrats expressing the opposite. A separate Reuters poll suggests most Americans believe the 250th anniversary celebrations have become political. The view is shared by 3/4 of Democrats and about half of Republicans. JUL, TVB News.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, leaves a car in major damage following a hit and run in California's wine country. Local authorities say the 86-year-old could face misdemeanor charges for the collision. Paul Pelosi was driving in a convertible in Yountville, a small town in the heart of wine country in Napa County, Friday, when he struck a parked car, briefly stopped and then drove away. Napa County Sheriff's Department says in a news release on Saturday. A witness saw the collision and called 911. The sheriff's deputies later found the octogenarian, who told officers he knew he hit something but wasn't sure when or what caused the damage to his car. Paul Pelosi didn't have any alcohol in his system at the time of the crash and wasn't arrested, and because no one was physically injured. Authorities are recommending a misdemeanor charge for fleeing the scene of an accident. Pelosi is being referred to the California Department of Motor Vehicles to initiate a process common for the elderly to determine whether he is fit to drive. Paul Pelosi pleaded guilty in 2022 to misdemeanor charges of driving under the influence in Napa County and served 2 days in jail. A pastor of a prominent underground church who was detained in China in October has been released, less than 2 months after US President Donald Trump brought up his case when meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. Pastor Ezra Jin arrived in Los Angeles Saturday to reunite with his family, according to a social media post by Francis Hui from the Committee for Freedom in Hong Kong Foundation. A family statement says Jin's release happened very quickly. The family thanks Trump and says they know the release could not have happened without Xi's direct intervention. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Jin and 17 other leaders of the underground Zion Church were detained in October in one of China's largest crackdowns on a single church in decades, raising worries over the government's stance on religious freedom. The People's Liberation Army's Navy ships Nanning and Hengyang are set to depart Hong Kong on Monday, marking the end to their visit. The public remain enthusiastic as they seize the final opportunity to see the warship. Kelly Law has more.
At the Ngongshunzhou barracks, the two warships are docked alongside each other, packed with visitors. On the pier, a military band performs a lineup of classic pieces to the delight of the crowd. Despite intermittent rain, visitors turned out in full force, eager to seize their last chance to view advanced military equipment, including shipborne helicopters and the closing weapon system, commonly known as the 10,000 round per minute gun, up close.
After I stepped in here, I think that the vessels is very big and really give me the sense that the China's Navy is getting much stronger and stronger than before. Like before, we just got some vessels of just 1,000 tons or something, and nowadays China's Navy is already getting very much stronger, and I think I'm very proud and patriotic about that.
Some visitors who have witnessed the evolution of the Chinese army over the years expresses great delight at the significant advancement in military equipment. A retired veteran says he served in the military from 1964 to 1979, and returning to the barracks made him feel like he's returning home. While recalling the hardships of the past, he noted with pride the troops of today are equipped with powerful modern weaponry.
The PLA Hong Kong garrison marks the close of the final open days with a semaphore signaling goodbye, putting a fitting end to the exchange.
The Transport Department says special traffic arrangements will be in place during the vessel's departure. 5 outlying island ferry trips may be delayed or cancelled. Passengers are advised to plan ahead. Kelly Law, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.